Stand by.
Loading. Loading complete.
30,
29, 28,
27,
26, 25, 24,
20,
22,
21, 20, 18,
17,
16, 15, 14, 13,
12,
11, 10,
9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
4,
2,
1. Now for what you've all been waiting for.
Good morning, good day, good evening, good night, good whatever it happens to be where you are. And hello to everybody who watches this in the future. And I have a fate of the grid hit in the chat there. Looks like. Possibly. I'm not sure if I have anybody watching right now. But alright. We'll keep going, and I'm sure people pile in eventually. Yeah, there's somebody. So, seeing as this is going to be the final little chapter of reading in H.G. Wells' The Time Machine, I figured why not end it with covering the movies used for trivia. And we've got some another old time radio to listen to, also involving time travel. Some artwork to look at. A little bit of Power Rangers news that came down, which if Theta, if you're in here listening, I'm pretty sure you already know about this one, but I thought it was a fascinating thing to cover. So, without further ado, and I hope my singing remains at the level of ear bleeding, and it doesn't go to Mars Attack's head exploding tonight. I've got crud in my throat, I got crud in my lungs, so I'm in great shape for trying to sing. Every morning, every evening, ain't we got fun? Not much money, oh, but honey, ain't we got fun? The rent's unpaid, dear, we having a buzz. The smiles were made, dear, for people like us. In the winter, in the summer, don't we have fun? Times are bombing, getting bummer, still we have fun. There's nothing sure, the rich get rich and the poor get poor. In the meantime, in between time, ain't we got fun? Tax collectors getting closer, still we have fun. Tons of cares, dear, come in pairs, dear, don't we have fun? We've only started, no, we're not downhearted. When I'm laid off, I'll be paid off, ain't we got fun? London's mad and getting badder, ain't we got fun? Times are bad and getting badder, still we have fun. There's nothing sure, the rich get rich and the poor get poor. In the meantime, in between time, ain't we got fun? And if you happen to hate that and want to hear more, I've got a list of songs you can pick from for request, provided I haven't already done already, from the wheel or whatnot. And speaking of the wheel, how about we pull up a song from the wheel? There we are. So what we get? Hello, my baby. All right, that's a good one to start with. All right, let's find this song. There we are. I've got a little baby, she's out of sight. I talk to her across the telephone. I haven't seen my honey, but she's mine, alright. So take my tip and leave this gal alone. Every single morning you'd hear me yell, "Hey Central, fix me up across the line." Connects me with my honey, and I ring the bell. And this is what I say to baby mine. Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal. Send me a kiss by wire. Baby, my heart's on fire. If you refuse me, honey, lose me, then you'll be left alone. Oh, baby, telephone and tell me I'm your own. Hello, hello, baby. Hello. I guess you can't hear me. Wires must be poor somewhere. Hello, hello. I said hello this morning through the phone. She said her name's Bess. Now I kind of know where I am at. I'm satisfied because I got my baby's dress here pasted in the lining of my hat. I'm mighty scared. Wires get crossed and separate me from my baby mine. Then some other fool will win her. The game is lost. So each day I shout across the line. Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal. Send me a kiss by wire. Baby, my heart's on fire. If you refuse me, honey, lose me, then you'll be left alone. Oh, baby, telephone and tell me I'm your own. Come on, baby. All right. A little bit of the frog song to get it started. That seems like a great neat start. And to help keep my throat somewhat functional, I've got my hibiscus tea. Great neat stuff to drink if you have a sore throat. Found that by accident. And of course, I got my Tullamore Dew honey. Go to numbs. And of course, you always gotta have some water with your alcohol when you're streaming. Drink responsibly. So, getting on. Let's get on to a little artwork here. So today's artist, we have Laura McGarty, I believe that's how you pronounce her name. McGarty, I believe. They're doing embroidery, and I gotta say, this one caught my eye. This is some pretty incredible embroidery work here. There's a tiger with a swimming through some water plants. And this isn't even personally, this isn't even the best one that they have. A red panda with a cherry blossom on there. Bring that one up. And little baby cheetah or cheetah. Little lamb jumping. Baby hippo. This one's one of my personal favorites. I mean, little party hat and the balloon with the squirrel. I mean, look at the detail in this fur. That is pretty incredible for embroidery work. That also would be pretty incredible if it was drawn. Let's go over to their store. They have a store in Etsy here. And pretty reasonable prices. You got everything from looks like $7 up to $11 stuff. Ooh, this is garden. I do have a garden channel called Gardens Happen, so if you want to go check that out, I haven't done much on it lately because of health issues, but I do plan to get back to that. That would be a great one, and for my gardening stuff. Are you even looking at? No, you guys aren't even looking at the growing one there. Let me switch over that. There we are. Yeah, that would be a really good one for my gardening one. Anyway, I'm getting off track here. Supposed to be looking at the art. We're not talking about me, my other channels. Get the Gila monster there. Yeah. Very nice work. I don't know if they do custom stuff for you though, or not. Oh, I saw this little land, and I don't see it down here, but looks like this probably like an out of stock thing. But they had this little land thing right there. That's pretty incredible looking. There's and I just kind of pick these artists out by random as I come across them on either Twitter or Blue Sky. If I can get my glasses to sit evenly. There we are. Yeah. How about we do another song while we're waiting? Ooh. Ooh, okay. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. I'm sometimes up, sometimes down, coming for to carry me home. But still my soul feels heavenly bound, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. I look over Jordan, and what did I see? Coming for to carry me home. A band of angels coming after me, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. And seeing as that it was a song that was usually associated with the slaves, possibly he referring to the Underground Railroad that helped get them out of the South. That seems like a good segue into my next point here. So I got a little bounding into comics site. Now, for those of you who were living under a rock for the past 30 years, there was a little show called Mighty Morning Earthing Power Ranger. It was in the early 90s. And they kind of got accused of a little bit of unconscious racism here and there, seeing as the Black Ranger was black, and the Yellow Ranger was Asian. And well, it was based off of the Sentai where everybody was Asian, so the Yellow Ranger was also Asian in the Sentai, and the Yellow Ranger was also male in the Sentai. So does that mean that Trini, when she morphed, was trans? At any rate, they decided they weren't going to make that mistake again, and so in the next incarnation of the show, Power Rangers Zero, they put the black girl in the yellow Power Rangers costume, and then put Tommy Oliver in the Red Ranger's costume, and gave him the backstory of being Native American. Moving on. Any rate, Walter Jones, who played the Black Ranger back then, and had a little something to say about the whole matter. And I'm going to kind of skip the article little stuff here, but I wanted to cover his statements. He says, incredible how many media outlets picked this up. However, some choose to seek out the negative. I've always believed in focusing on the positive. I understand the impulse to address what might be seen as cultural insensitivity, but calling it a mistake would dismiss the impact it had in countless people around the world who found inspiration and representation in TV's first black superhero. I'm not sure if you get to be the first black superhero, but you were definitely the first black Power Ranger. Morphin into none other than the Black Ranger. It wasn't a mistake, it was a milestone, it was an honor. And that was his statement on the matter. I really wanted to kind of cover this because it kind of fits the philosophy of my channel too. Hello, unfinished journey. You're gonna keep asking for that free bird, aren't you? Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see the issue, but for a lot of the fans, I don't think it really mattered to them. And it really was an honor to have him on the show. Oh, I got some more people watching since I was reading the article. Hello, everybody. So, getting requests I can actually sing from the list. But let's see what we got here. Let's bring up another song on the wheel. And what we have. My shadow. That's a short one. We'll do that one, of course. But if I can find. There we are. I alphabetize these songs. I still dig. Me and my shadow strolling down the avenue. Me and my shadow, not a soul to tell our troubles to. When it's 12 o'clock, we climb the stairs. We never knock, 'cause no one's there. Just me and my shadow, all alone and feeling blue. Yeah, it's a short one, but yeah, not bad. The wheel seems like landing on that one quite a bit. Guess we'll try one more song here, and then we'll get on to the next topic here. Make sure everybody's ears are bleeding before we move on. April showers. When April showers may come your way, they bring the flowers that bloom in May. So when it's raining, have no regrets. 'Cause it isn't raining, you know it's raining violets. And when you see clouds up on a hill, you know that there'll be crowds of daffodils. So just keep looking for a bluebird and listening for his song whenever April showers come along. And when you see clouds up on a hill, you know there'll be crowds of daffodils. So just keep looking for a bluebird and listening for his song whenever April showers come along. Ah, that was also kind of a short one, wasn't it? Hey, Ron Copperman, hello. And for those of you coming in, I have a whole list of songs in the description, and you can pick from as long as I haven't done it already. And for those of you watching in the future after the show and wondering what I'm talking about, I'm going to take that list off of it after the show ends. So, yeah, seeing as that was a kind of a short, the second one was kind of a short too. Let's see if we get something that holds up a little for a few more minutes there. Yeah, let's try this one more time. Give me that. My regards to Broadway. That's a decent one. All right. Did you ever see two Yankees part upon a foreign shore when the good ship's just about to start for old New York once more? With tear-dimmed eyes, they say goodbye. They're friends, without a doubt. The man on the pier shouts, "Let them clear!" as the ship strikes out. Give my regards to Broadway. Remember me to Herald Square. Tell all the gang at 42nd Street that I will soon be there. Whisper of how I'm yearning to mingle with the old time throng. Give my regards to Broadway and say that I'll be there ere long. Say hello to dear old Coney Island if there you chance to be. When you're at the wardrobe, have a smile and charge it up to me. Mention my name every place you go, so around the town you roam. You should call on my gal. Now remember, old pal, when you get back home. Give my regards to Broadway. Remember me to Herald Square. Tell all the gang at 42nd Street that I will soon be there. Whisper of how I'm yearning to mingle with the old time throng. Give my regards to Broadway and say that I'll be there ere long. Give my regards to Broadway. And then mention my name in wherever you go to. Why the list of songs? Huh. Because those are the ones I know. And will probably not screw up royally me trying to sing. No, just a little let you know behind the scenes of why I kind of do is this live stream in the first place is I actually he have a stutter, and the singing I do is actually he meant to help improve that. And on top of that, I actually have an anxiety disorder, which is the reason why I started one of the reasons why I started doing these live streams to help me face that. A little behind the scenes of personal stuff there. But let's get into the movie trivia. I usually do this a little bit later in the show, but I've been thinking about moving it forward in the show a little bit anyway. It's been kind of feeling like it deserves to be further into the show. Tonight's movie trivia is a doubleheader with The Time Machine. Now, this is the 1960 version we'll be looking at first. And to get us started, for trivia, all four of H.G. Wells' children were still alive at the time this film was released in 1960. Now, this was also Rob Tyler's first leading role in a major film. Good for him. Rob Tyler stood just under 6 feet tall in an effort to make him appear larger and therefore more impressive. Oli Eloi, actually they pronounce it Eloi in this one. We can get a little bit that a little bit later. And the Morlocks were played by much shorter actors. Well, considering that the book actually describes both the Eloi and the Morlocks as being short, and really the Eloi were supposed to be childlike, pretty short, to where he was able to pick up Weena and carry her on his shoulders. Yeah, they probably should be played by short people. But I guess they thought it weird to have Weena being a someone who looked childlike, with the undertones of a romantic interest. So it kind of felt one way to me in the book. If you're interested, you can go back to the other live streams and listen to the read-throughs. Yvette Minix was actually underage is when shooting began. And she turned 18 during the shoot. Well, that was badly phrased. And is not legally he's supposed to work a full shooting schedule, but she did. She was inexperienced, but as she worked on on this film, she kept getting better and better. And so by the end of the shoot, the producer went back and reshot some of her earlier scenes. The shape of the time machine itself was inspired by one of George Pal's most favorite types of childhood vehicles, a sled. This is the reason for the sled-like design of the machine, and so that it could slide into time. Har hardy har har. Of course, if you're going to make a time machine, you got to give it some style. Like maybe a DeLorean or something. According to supplemental information in the DVD, George Pell wanted the disc on the machine to spin clockwise for time travel into the future, and counterclockwise travel into the past. Due to the way the machine was built, it was deemed too expensive and too time consuming to add the reverse feature. What a shame. 'Cause that would have been really awesome to have on that particular design. And really, think about it, considering the other design, and they should have added that to the newer movie. But we'll get into that a little bit. The plaque on the control panel of the time machine read, "Manufactured by H. George Wells." That is, H.G. Wells was author of the source material. And we can see it right there. That was about the clearest shot I could find, kind of that particular thing. The globe in the background, and when George is listening to the information rings was used in Forbidden Planet. And the navigation sphere, there is also a large circle screen in the square panel on the wall, which was is in the cruiser's control deck beyond the sphere. So we have the sphere itself right there, and of course the circular display thing right there. And for contrast, here is a shot from from Forbidden Planet. So we got the globe there, and of course our little screen right in the background there. And this isn't the only thing from that movie that showed up either. During Georgia's stop on August 19th, 1966, the air raid wardens were wearing the gray C-57D crew uniforms from Forbidden Planet. And you can see one right here, a little back track here. You can see them wearing the costumes here. A little bit blurry on this particular shot, but I was trying to get the sphere and the round and display. But that's what we have there. The grand staircase leading up to the Great Dome is a famous MGM landmark among trivia buffs. I had to throw that in if it's going to be a good landmark. Built for Kismet in 1944, it was miraculously saved from razing by an executive who wisely thought maybe they could use it again. Situated outdoors on Lot 3, not far from the Meet Eat Me in St. Louis, is 1994 street heat set. It showed up in numerous films and TV shows. It was twice on The Twilight Zone. Alan Young, who played David Philby, he and the son James Philby, is the only actor to appear in both this film and the remake from 2002. So this is him from our 1960, and here's him in as a filer or salesman in the newer one in 2002. And that brings us into 2002's Time Machine. Oh, I forgot. Uh, it seems during his trip to the future again, or wherever, he made a little stop up in another movie. He seems our time traveler has aged quite a bit by this point. But moving on. Hope he didn't pick up any gremlin ones while he was there. The director, Simon Wells, of the 2002 movie, is the great grandson of H.G. Wells, who wrote the book, in 1895, which is all based on. And they took quite a few number of liberty using this newer one and compared it to the 1960 version. Guy Pearce, who's who was so consistent in most of his takes that the audio from one take could be put with the video from another, and the combination of the two would fit perfectly. Well, I gotta say that's some pretty impressive work there. He also did most of his own stunts, and occasionally got frustrated when he wasn't allowed to do a few. And him dangling like a fish on a hook, trying to get away from a Morlock. Uh, he ended up breaking a rib during the film when he tackled the Morlock from the side. So this is the tackle here, and I know the Morlock here is a little bit blurry, but yeah, apparently he broke a rib doing this one. Fox was originally written as a robot. Steven Spielberg was creating AI, artificial intelligence, in 2001, and at the same time, and had a similarly designed robot in his own film for every version of Vox the filmmaker could conceive. Producer and designer Oliver Scholl came up with the idea of a hologram. Not a bad idea, though. I'm not so sure about having him show up in the future. Fox signs off by saying, "Live long and prosper." The famous quote from the Star Trek Spock. As Fox leaves, the hissing and mechanical sounds of Enterprise's doors can be heard. Yeah, I caught that one while I was watching it. A picture of H.G. Wells is visible in Alexander's house in several shots, and this is one of the shots here. He's right there. Yeah, picture of H.G. Wells right there. The time machine itself was the biggest and most expensive prop ever to be built for a movie at the time. I couldn't really find anything to really further confirm how much was actually he spent on building this thing, unfortunately. But for size comparison, here's our actor standing next to the machine. I mean, the pan and up is going to distort it a little bit, but still, you can get a pretty good feel for how big this thing was. Simon's Well's idea for the machine and to incorporate Fresnel lenses came from the fact that the time traveler in the book is mentioned as a professor of physical optics. And yeah, it looked pretty awesome on the machine. I gotta give him that much. The initial designs of the Morlocks by Stan and Winston and the studio team were more faithful to the original book's description as brutish ape-like creatures with claws of moles. Director Simon Wells and the producers wanted changes made to accommodate the human performer and made them more humanoid, which angered the original artists. Ultimately, the Stan and Winston studio team were not pleased with the look of the final Morlocks or the decision to film them in broad daylight as opposed to night when they were supposed to be shown. Yeah, having them show up in daylight was kind of. But anyway, we have some of the concept art for the Morlocks here. This one in the bottom right, the chubby Morlock is the one that I think kind of fits. It's the way Morlock, at least I would imagine the Morlocks looking, personally, as closest to that. As being kind of ape-like and brutish, and each Morlock had and was tightly packed with 32 servo motors, which allowed for a wide range of expression, but also obscured the performer's vision. In order for the performers to see, he, they had to install small little monitors which were mounted into the Morlock's helmet. The monitor received a video signal from a tiny camera concealed in one of the nostrils of the Morlock's face. For more active scenes, performers were lighter stunt heads without servo motors, which allowed for better visibility. And this is probably one of the ones. This is definitely one of the ones that had all the servo motors in it. Yeah, for a close up. And seeing as I did Stargate in Stargate ch.7 and last week, I had to throw this bit of trivia in. The film's trailer used music from Stargate 1994 and Stargate SG-1 1997. And these were the only two movies in the time machine I watched. It was also a 1978 movie that was made for TV. And I just had to throw this one in here so we could and all admire that glorious porn status the time traveler had. Oh, and I suppose I can throw in a little bit of trivia for it as well. Some of the sound effects used in the time travel sequences are the same as those used in the TV series The Time Tunnel and in the feature film In the Time Machine from 1960. So we'll kind of go full circle here. So, yeah, we have here it. Oh, Demon Orb showed up. Hello, and Jester showed up. Hello to you too. Let's see here. Yeah. Also, HDL is so very qualified to make a time machine that I shall now this all of many engineering feats. Oh boy. That set is dope. I understand the human aspect in filming in daylight, but there are methods of filming in night scenes in daylight, and then using effects in the dark and shit. Yeah, they should have made it seem like it was nighttime. Mm. Yeah, you should check out how my show from last week. I covered her at Stargate. Get something to numb my throat here. Pull out the wheels again. Unless anyone has a request for a song, you can check out in the description. And another short one. Good. We're getting short songs today. All right. I love you truly, truly, dear. Life with its sorrow, life with its tear. Fade into dreams when I feel you near. For I love you truly, truly, dear. Our love, 'tis something to feel your kind hand. Ah, yes, 'tis something by your side to stand. Gone is the sorrow, gone doubt and fear, for you love me truly, truly, dear. That was a short one. Come on, Wheel, give us something more. Whoa, we got God here. Oh, I'm glad that I'm loved. All right. There we are. That's more like it. Skidamarink. It's a fun song. Yeah. And of course, I do more of the original version, which kind of actually combine the newer version and the older version together. Down on the Bull Island, where the mermaids chant, reigns a big chief crocodile beneath the noise of plant. He loved the scene of selfishly, queen of the gay white wave, and each night in his shell he'd haze and see, and in tuneful scales he'd rave. Skidamarink-a-dink-a-boop, skidamarink-a-doo means I love you. Skidamarink-a-dink-a-boop, skidamarink-a-doo means I'll be true. Skidamarink-a-dink-a-boop, skidamarink-a-doo. All the time he sang this rhyme. Skidamarink-a-dink-a-boop, skidamarink-a-doo means I love you. But when the midnight moon is pale, Kingfish Kokomo, he floating over with his tail to say he loved her so. But she was true, the crocodile said, Coconut, go away. I know and little very well, you'll hear my lover say, Skidamarink-a-dink-a-boop, skidamarink-a-doo, I love you. Skidamarink-a-dink-a-boop, skidamarink-a-doo, I love you. I love you in the morning and in the afternoon. I love you in the evening underneath the moon. Skidamarink-a-dink-a-boop, skidamarink-a-doo. I love you. And I hope you love that. Or at least didn't hate it too much. But now we've got that out of the way. Now, time for a little bit of old time radio. And if you like, I put all these old time radio shows on the channel for later viewing solo. I do appreciate if you go check those out and leave a comment.
The Mysterious Traveler, written, produced, and directed by Robert A. Arthur and David Cogan, and starring tonight two of radio's foremost actors, Leon Janney and Charlotte Holland, in Operation Tomorrow.
This is the Mysterious Traveler, inviting you to join me on another journey into the realm of the strange and the terrifying. I hope you will enjoy the trip, and it will thrill you a little and chill you a little. So settle back, get a good grip on your nerves, and be comfortable, if you can, as we journey with a young scientist into the unknown future. It's a story I call Operation Tomorrow. My story begins in a scientific laboratory cut out of the solid rock many feet beneath New York's City University. Amidst a maze of electronic apparatus, Professor Wilbur Malcolm A middle-aged pipe-smoking man is making methodical tests, aided by his new assistant, Fred Andrews.
The main output coils seem to be working the way they should. You ready at the meters, Fred?
Yes, Professor. But I wish I knew what we were doing.
You will in a few seconds, my boy. Now, wind up that alarm clock and put it here on this lead table in the center of the magnetic field.
This old alarm clock?
Yes.
There. All right, it's in the magnetic field. Now what?
Now, I'm going to turn on the current. You give me the readings as we go along.
Right, sir.
Here we go. Readings, please.
1,000 volts positive main output tube. 1,500. 2,000. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8,000. 9. 10,000.
All right. We've reached critical voltage. Now watch the clock closely, Fred.
The clock? Yes, sir. Why, it's getting a little hazy. Hard to see. Now it's transparent, as if it were made of glass. What is this, Professor?
Patience, my boy. Watch and observe. That's the scientist's motto.
Well, the tick is getting fainter. Fading out. The clock is disappearing. Professor, the clock has vanished.
So it has. Gone completely.
But where? Don't tell me you've discovered the secret of invisibility.
Oh, something bigger than that, Fred. But watch now. I'm going to cut off the alpha tubes. Now I'll cut in the beta tubes. That will give us a negative charge and reverse the magnetic field. You ready, Fred?
Yes, sir.
Here we go. Readings, please.
2,000 volts negative. 3,000 negative. 4,000. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10,000 volts negative.
Good. I'm holding the field at 10,000. Now watch where the clock was.
I'm watching, sir. Good Lord. I see a ghost of a clock there. Just a misty outline. Now it's becoming clearer and clearer. It's transparent. Now it's almost solid. Why, I can hear it ticking again.
And there it's back.
Oh.
Yes, Fred. The clock is back. And as you can hear, still in good working order.
But where was it? Where did it go?
Where did it go? It went into the future.
Into the future?
Yes, my boy. That clock has just penetrated approximately 1 year into the future. You've witnessed the first demonstration of something that up to now has always been considered a fantastic dream. Time travel.
Good Lord.
That's enough for today. You're coming home with me, Fred, when I tell you my plans.
How did you stumble onto this time travel effect, sir?
Well, it came about almost by sheer accident. My main purpose, which is a top-secret operation, is to develop electronic controls for atomic spaceships.
You mean they've been developed?
Oh, no, not yet. But it shouldn't be long now. Science is making incredibly rapid advances. And sometimes it worries me. When you travel so fast, there's danger of a collision.
Yes, I know. We're all of us worried that the world is headed for a gigantic disaster, but there doesn't seem to be anything we can do about it.
Perhaps there is. That's what I've been working around to tell you, Fred.
What, Professor Malcolm?
Well, this time travel effect that I stumbled on accidentally. I've kept it a secret. You're the only person besides myself to know about it.
I'm very flattered, sir.
And I know I can trust you. And I need your help. I'm not sure we're really ready for time travel. As we were just saying, we're going so fast now, so many new discoveries that we don't know how to handle for the world's good. I hesitate to add one more to the list.
I think I understand.
But on the other hand, maybe it can be used for mankind's benefit. I have a wild scheme, Fred. Very unscientific. And yet...
What is it, Professor?
Well, it's this. I propose to send you on a little jaunt into the future.
Into... future?
Yes. I want you to bring back information. I want to find out what's in store for us mortals of the 20th century, Fred. If it's bad, war, perhaps, just knowing about it in advance may make it possible to prevent it. Do you follow me?
Huh. It would be like knowing in advance about a train wreck and then seeing that it doesn't happen.
I knew you'd understand. That's why I sent for you. As soon as we've completed our tests, I propose to send you through time 100 years into the future.
For days and weeks, Fred Andrews and Professor Malcolm experimented until they were sure it would be possible to send a human being into the future and bring him back safely. At last, they were ready for the big test, for the actual transmission of Fred himself through time.
Professor, I'm all ready. Why are you hesitating?
Well, Fred, as we've been working, suspicion has been growing in my mind.
What suspicion, sir?
I don't think this is going to work.
But, Professor, we've sent dozens of objects into the future and brought them back. Even live animals. Cats, dogs.
Yes, but we've never brought back an object from the future itself. I mean, one we didn't send there.
No, that's true.
I wonder if... Well, no matter, we'll see. Now remember, gather all the information you can and get back to this spot 6 hours from now. I'll activate the return field then and bring you back to 1950.
Yes, sir, I'll do my best.
I guess that's all. Good luck, my boy.
Thank you, sir.
5,000 volts positive. 6,000 volts. How do you feel?
I feel fine, Professor.
8,000 volts. 9. 10,000. Critical voltage. You're beginning to move forward into time. It's getting transparent now. Can you hear me?
Yes, Professor Malcolm. I can hear you, but you sound very far away. I can't see you any longer. I seem to be in the middle of a fog or mist. Now I'm just surrounded by blackness. I can't hear or see anything.
He's gone. Pray heaven he comes back safely.
For a long moment, Fred Andrews felt as if he was spinning dizzily through empty darkness. Then the feeling passed, and he cautiously opened his eyes to find himself standing in an empty room, the laboratory which he had just left 100 years ago. Unsteadily, he crossed the room and, with difficulty, opened the door. Then he gasped. Outside was a maze of corridors and stairways, brilliantly lighted as if a whole city had been carved out of the rock of Manhattan Island. As he stood there, someone came walking swiftly past him. An attractive girl in full military uniform.
I beg your pardon.
Yes?
But, can you
What are you
tell
doing
me...
here?
What?
This section is forbidden to civilians.
Forbidden to civilians? I don't get it.
How did you get past the guards? Where are your identification papers?
No, wait a minute. Since when does an American citizen have to carry identification papers?
Ever since the war started, as you know quite well. Put up your hands.
A gun? No. Look, miss, you don't have to threaten me. I'm harmless.
Stand still. I want to see if you're carrying a weapon.
Well, satisfied? The only weapon I have is a fountain pen.
What's your name?
Frederick Andrews, Ph.D.
Your draft card, please.
Draft card? Look, what's all this about? War, draft card, identification papers. All these tunnels that have been dug down here. I'm a stranger here.
I don't know what you're up to, but no one can be that ignorant. You're coming along with me to see Colonel Phillips.
Colonel Phillips?
He's the security officer for this sector. And I certainly hope you have a good story to tell him.
So your story, Mr. Andrews, is that you've come here from the year 1950. You must realize it's a very unconvincing tale.
Completely unconvincing, in my opinion, Colonel.
Well, it's the only story I have. I was born in 1923, and in 1950, Professor Wilbur Malcolm of City University sent me into the future. Now I'm here, and, I forgot to ask the date.
It's April 10th, 2050.
Exactly 100 years. Professor Malcolm's calculations were accurate to almost the minute.
Colonel, in my opinion, this man is a very clever spy.
Spy? But, well, look at that stuff you took from my pockets. The notebook, fountain pen, my driver's license, dated 1950. Those coins and bills, the cigarettes. Surely they convince you I came from 100 years ago.
I think we can settle the question, Mr. Andrews. Our technical department can tell whether this currency is genuine and approximately how old it is. Lieutenant French.
Yes, sir.
Send all these things by pneumatic tube to the technical department. Ask them for an immediate report. Also ask them if there is any record of a Professor Malcolm or an assistant named Frederick Andrews at City University in 1950.
Yes, sir, right away. I'll have a report for you in half an hour.
When the report comes, Mr. Andrews, I'll know how to handle your case. If you are a spy, you know the penalty.
Well, I'm not worried, Colonel. Now, may I ask a few questions? Are you at war?
We are indeed at war.
And these miles of tunnels I saw, carved out of the solid rock.
This city has retreated underground, Mr. Andrews. No one lives on the surface now.
Good Lord. How long has the war been going on?
We've been at war, Mr. Andrews. Off and on, of course, with periods in between in which both sides have rested up. For 95 years.
Well, a visitor at last. Hello, Lieutenant French.
I'm sorry, Mr. Andrews, that we had to keep you locked up until you were cleared.
Does that mean you believe my story now?
Technical Division says your story is true.
I'm free now?
Well, not exactly, Mr. Andrews. This is a military sector, and you're a civilian. But I am to be your guide for the time being.
Good. Then, suppose I call you Emily, and you call me Fred.
All right, Fred.
There's a great deal I want to see and learn before I go back to 1950.
Go back? You mean you can return?
Of course. Professor Malcolm will turn on his gadgets to bring me back at 4 o'clock.
That's only 3 hours. I'll have to report this to Colonel Phillips. After I've reported, what would you like to do?
I'm anxious to see what's going on. And I'd like to collect a number of books with the latest scientific and historical data to take back with me.
Yes, all right. I'll phone the colonel. Then I'll show you around. Fred, here's the plotting room for the flying bomb attack.
Good Lord, it's as big as a theater. And as dark. What's that big board with lights on it?
That's the chart board, which records every flying bomb within 1,000 miles of American territory.
Self-guided missile entering detection net over Greenland. General course south-southwest.
I have it plotted. Send up interceptor rockets when it reaches Zone 4.
Yes, sir. Rockets 34 and 35 successfully intercepted at Defense Zone 4.
Now, you see, Fred, 2 lights just went out. That means we sent up destroyer rockets, which brought the bomb down.
Rocket bombs 29 and 31 have eluded interception at Zone 3.
Interception salvo at Zone 2. If they penetrate, use interceptor L-100 at Zone 1.
L-100 is our new top-secret interceptor, Fred. Hardly anyone knows how it works, but it never fails.
4 more lights went out then.
Mm-hmm. And here comes the report.
Last 4 rockets successfully intercepted.
Roger.
Well, Fred, what do you think of modern
Rocket
warfare?
25 has penetrated Zone 2.
Horrifying.
Interceptor
And
L-100
everybody
is being
here
launched now.
Seems to take it so calmly.
You can't get excited when a thing has lasted for almost 100 years on and off.
That light, number 25, it's still on and moving.
But it should have been destroyed by now. Do you suppose...
Rocket number 25 has eluded interceptor attack by L-100.
It has, but it can't have.
Report on 25, please.
Detection Base 103 reports number 25, apparently new type rocket, non-metallic construction, able to baffle sighting mechanism of L-100.
Order technical crew to search for fragments after the hit. Send general warning to eastern seaboard area. Give plotted strike prediction.
Very good, sir. All personnel in Eastern District. All personnel. Bomb strike due in 10 seconds. Battery area. Bomb strike due in 5 seconds. 4 seconds. Bomb strike due in 3 seconds. 2 seconds. 1 second. All personnel, bomb strike over.
All right, Fred. I'll take you to the viewing room next. And you can see for yourself what this city looks like in the year 2050. Lieutenant French reporting back with Mr. Andrews, sir.
Very good, Lieutenant. Well, Mr. Andrews, have a good look around?
Yes, sir. I saw the city through the television viewing screens.
Not quite the city you left, is it?
It's unbelievable. Just acres of twisted steel and fallen stone. The skeletons of giant buildings lying across one another, rusting. It's like the end of the world.
Not quite. Perhaps not even the end of civilization. Man is an adaptable creature.
But are we winning, sir?
Nobody wins a war anymore, Mr. Andrews. We're holding our own, and we hope when the end comes there will be peace on Earth forever.
But how did it start, sir? We were trying so hard to prevent war back in 1950. In fact, one reason for my trip into time was to get information that might help us keep war from breaking out.
Lieutenant French, why didn't we think of that?
Think of what, sir?
If the world of 1950 knows the truth, maybe it won't happen. Either they can prevent the accident that started all this back in 1955, or at least they'll know the truth when it does happen.
Of course, sir. Mr. Andrews can take the true story back with him.
Well, what story? I don't follow you.
Fred, you asked how the war started.
Yes?
It started because of an accident and an over-jittery world.
Yes, my boy, a horrible irony.
Fred, now listen. During the 1950s, the government established a special experimental base in the heart of the Arizona desert, in a little town called Red Rock.
Red Rock, Arizona?
Yes, that's right. The first space rocket was put into production there, and work was pushed on the problem of fuel.
During the course of experiments, an explosion occurred, late in 1955.
It was a terrific blast, wiped out the whole base. The first reports were sabotage, that the enemy had blown up the base because they were afraid we were on the verge of getting space flight.
Before the truth became known, our newspapers screamed for retaliation. The enemy became panicky and decided to strike first. And phase one of the war was on. When we discovered the blast was really an accident, it was too late to stop.
That's horrible, sir. War, because everybody was just too jittery.
But it doesn't have to be. Don't you see, if you take back the true story before it happens, it won't have to happen. Now, look, I've assembled a dozen books for you. The information in them will enable your scientists to prevent that blast at Red Rock Base.
Now, Fred, you've got to get the facts back to them. You've just got to.
I will. Believe me, Professor Malcolm and I will see to it this war doesn't start in our time.
Good. Now, come along. You've only 5 minutes more.
This is the exact spot where I was lying when I came through the time dimension, Colonel Phillips.
You've only 30 seconds more, Andrews. Remember, impress the lesson of the accident at Red Rock on the world. These books, hold them close to you so they'll go back with you.
Yes, sir. I've got a good grip on them.
Fred.
Yes, Emily?
Just good luck.
Thanks. Maybe I'll pay another trip to 2050.
I hope so.
It's 1600. And Professor Malcolm is on time.
Look, Colonel. It's getting transparent. It's disappearing.
Goodbye, Emily. I guess this is it. Hope to see you again sometime.
But, sir, the books. They aren't disappearing. They're just as solid as ever. Fred! Fred!
What? I can hardly hear you. Everything's gray and misty. Are you still there? Emily, are you still there?
The books, Fred! Fred, the books!
Andrews, you're going back with the books. They're staying here.
He's appearing. He's returning. Thank heaven he's safe. Fred, my boy. Fred, what's the matter? You're staring at me as if you didn't know me. Here, Fred, let me help you up. It's I, Professor Malcolm.
Professor Malcolm?
Yes. Don't tell me you don't remember.
Professor Malcolm?
Yes, Fred. What's the matter?
Oh, my head feels so funny. I can't seem to remember who you are or what's happened to me. What am I doing here?
Well, Fred, how are you?
Oh, Professor Malcolm, it's good to see you, sir.
I can't tell you how I've been blaming myself ever since the experiment.
Oh, nonsense. I haven't suffered any harm. Just a blank place in my mind. I can't understand it. Do you suppose the experiment failed?
You were gone for 6 hours. Somewhere. That's all I know, Fred. If you did get to 2050, Fred...
Yes, sir?
Well, I have a theory that though we can move from past to future, it's impossible for anything belonging in the future to move to the past. The structure of time itself prevents that.
I see.
So, if you did try to bring back any books or papers, they stayed behind.
You must be right.
You can't remember because nothing that you didn't take with you could come back with you, even including sensory impressions on your brain cells. The very act of returning wiped out your memories.
Maybe if I went again, we could find some way around the problem. There must be some way, sir.
No, Fred. I'm dropping the whole subject for the time being. I've been transferred to a new assignment, and you're coming with me.
Well, what is the assignment, sir?
All spaceship research is being concentrated at a new base now being developed. You and I are going out there to help develop a fuel and we'll take a rocket to the moon.
I see. Where is the base, Professor Malcolm?
Oh, someplace in the west. I believe they call it Red Rock, Arizona.
Red Rock? The name seems awfully familiar to me. I wonder why.
This is the mysterious traveler. Well, time travel doesn't seem to be all it's been painted. Especially if you can't remember what's happened when you get back. You aren't worried about the future, are you? You know that tonight's story couldn't possibly happen. Or could it? Oh, you have to get off now. I'm sorry. But I'm sure we'll meet again. I take this same train every week at this same time.
Well, hope you enjoyed that. Hope the buzzing sounds weren't too annoying. And hello, Purple, for showing up. Thank you for showing up here. And while we were listening to the radio broadcast, Molly decided to show up. So, of course, we got Molly clap.
Good girl. Yes, you are. You're a good girl. Good girl, yeah. Good girl. girl.
Gotta have a Molly clip if the pupper shows up, right? Okay. Yeah, excuse me. Get maybe a little bit of Tilmore Dew to help me clear the soreness in my throat. Boy, this coughing is not good. Oh, I actually use Split Cam, though I'm currently running through StreamYard to run and everything. So who knows how stable that is. How about we get into another song while we're sitting here, and then we can get into. There we go. Come on. There we are. Let's see what we get this time. Yeah, it's a hole in the bucket. All right. There's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza, dear Liza. There's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza. A hole. Then patch it, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. Then patch it, dear Henry. Then patch up the hole. With what shall I patch it, dear Liza, dear Liza? With what shall I patch it, dear Liza? With what? With straw, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. With straw, dear Henry, dear Henry. With straw. With the straw is too long, dear Liza, dear Liza. The straw is too long, dear Liza, too long. Then cut it, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. Then cut it, dear Henry, dear Henry, cut it. With what shall I cut it, dear Liza, dear Liza? With what shall I cut it, dear Liza? With what? With a knife, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. With a knife, dear Henry, dear Henry, a knife. The knife is too dull, dear Liza, dear Liza. The knife is too dull, dear Liza, too dull. Then sharpen it, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. Then sharpen it, dear Henry, dear Henry, sharpen it. With what shall I sharpen it, dear Liza, dear Liza? With what shall I sharpen it, dear Liza? With what? With a stone, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. With a stone, dear Henry, dear Henry, a stone. The stone is too dry, dear Liza, dear Liza. The stone is too dry, dear Liza, too dry. Then wet it, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. Then wet it, dear Henry, dear Henry. Then wet it. With what shall I wet it, dear Liza, dear Liza? With what shall I wet it, dear Liza? With what? With water, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. With water, dear Henry, dear Henry. With water. With what shall I fetch it, dear Liza, dear Liza? With what shall I fetch it, dear Liza? With what? With a bucket, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. With a bucket, dear Henry, dear Henry, a bucket. But there's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza, dear Liza. There's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza, a hole. But not to worry. He peed on a stone and sharpened his knife and cut the straw and patched his bucket. But the water just never tasted the same again. Let's see here. If anybody wants to make any, if anybody wants to make any requests for a song, I do have the song list is in the description. You can go check that out and pick something from that. And well, do it. Let's get one more song going here. Yeah. All right. Let's see. What do I do? Just as you say. Why do I always give you your way? Why do I sigh? Why don't I try to forget? It must be that something lovers call fate kept on saying I had to wait. I saw them all, just couldn't fall till we met. It had to be you. It had to be you. I wandered around and finally found somebody who could make me feel true and make me be blue and even be glad just to be sad thinking of you. Some others I meet might never be mean, might never be cross or try to be boss, but they wouldn't do, for nobody else gave me a thrill. For all your faults, I love you still. It had to be you, wonderful you. It had to be you. It seems like dreams, like I always had, could be, should be, making me glad. Why am I blue? It's up to you to explain. Maybe, baby, I'll go away. Someday, some way, you'll come and say, it had to be you. It had to be you. I wandered around and finally found somebody who could make me be true and make me be blue and even be glad just to be sad thinking of you. Some others I seen might never be mean, might never be cross or try to be boss, but they wouldn't do, for nobody else gave me a thrill. For all your faults, I love you still. It had to be you, wonderful you. It had to be you. It had to be you. Let's see here. Alright. Okay, well, let's get on to the story. The last chapter of The Time Machine. There was a momentary stillness, and chairs began to creak and shoes to scrape upon the carpet. I took my eye off the time traveler's face and looked around at his audience. And they were in the dark, and little spots of color swam before them. The medical man seemed absorbed in the contemplation of our host. The editor was looking hard at the end of his cigar, the sixth. The journalist fumbled for his watch. The others, as far as I remember, were motionless. The editor stood up with a sigh. What a pity it is you're not a writer of stories, he said, putting his hand on the time traveler's shoulder. You don't believe it? Well, I thought not. The time traveler turned to us. Where are the matches? As he said. He lit one and spoke over his pike. He puffing. To tell you the truth, I hardly believe it myself. And yet, his eyes fell with a he inquired upon the withered white flower was upon the little table. Then he turned over the hand and holding in his pipe. I saw he was looking at some half-filled scars on his knuckles. The medical man rose and came to the lamp and examined the flowers. Geraniums. It's odd, he said. The psychologist leaned forward to see, he holding out his hand for a specimen. I'm hanged if it isn't a quarter or to one, said the journalist. How shall we get home? Plenty of cabs at the station, said the psychologist. It's a curious thing, said the medical man, but I certainly don't know the natural order of these flowers. May I have them? The time traveler hesitated, then suddenly, certainly not. Where did you really get them? Said the medical man. The time traveler put his hand into his head. He spoke like one who was trying to keep hold of an idea that eluded him. They were put in my pocket by Weena when I traveled into time. He stared around the room. If it isn't all going. This room and you and the atmosphere of every day is too much for my memory. Did I ever make a time machine or a model of a time machine? Or is it all only a dream? They say life is a dream, a precious, poor dream at times. But I can't stand another that won't fit. It's madness. And where did the dream come from? I must look at that machine, and if there is one. He caught up the lamp swiftly and carried it flaring in red through the door into the corridor. We followed him. There, in the flickering light of the lamp, was the machine. Sure enough, squat, ugly, and askew. A thing of brass, as ebony, ivory, and a translucent, glimmering quartz. It's solid to the touch. And sure, I put it out my hand and then felt at the rail of it end with brown spots and smear is upon the ivory, and bits of grass and moss up upon the lower part. It's in one rail bent array. The time traveler put the lamp down and on the bench and ran in his hand along the damaged rail. It's all right now, he said. The story I told you was true. I'm sorry to have brought you out here in the cold. He took up the lamp, and in absolute silence, we returned into the smoking room. He came into the hall with us and helped up the editor on with his coat. The medical man and looked into his face, and with a certain hesitation, and told him he was suffering from overwork. At which and she laughed hugely. I remember him standing in the open door, bawling good night. I shared a cab with the editor. He thought of the tale a gaudy lie. For my own part, I was unable to come to a conclusion. The story was so fantastic and incredible. The telling being so incredible when sober. I lay awake most of the night thinking about it. I determined to go next day and see the time traveler again. I was told he was in the laboratory and being in easy terms in the house. I went up to him. The laboratory, however, was empty. I stared for a moment, and then the time machines, and put it out of my hand and touched the lever. At the squat, substantially looking mass sway like a bow shaken by the wind. Its instability startled me extremely, and I had a queer reminiscence of the childish days is when I used to be forbidden to meddle. I came back through the corridor. The time traveler met me in the smoking room. He was coming in from the house. He had a small camera under one arm and a knapsack into the other. He laughed when he saw me and gave me an elbow to shake. I'm frightfully busy, said he with that thing in there. But is it not some hoax? I said. Did you really travel through time? Really and truly, I do. And he looked frankly into my eyes. He hesitated. His eyes wandered about the room. I only want half an hour, he said. I know why you came, and it's awfully good of you. There's some magazines here, and if we'll stop up to lunch, and shall prove you that it's time I'm traveling up to the hilt and specimen and all. If you'll forgive if my leaving you now, I consented hardly, comprehending then in the full import of his words. And he nodded and went on and down the corridor. I heard the door of the laboratory slam, and seated myself in a chair and took up a daily paper. Or what was going to do? What was he going to do before lunchtime? Then suddenly I was reminded by an advertisement that I had promised to meet Richardson and the publisher at 2. I looked at my watch and saw that I could barely say that engagement. I got up and went and down the passageway to tell the time traveler. As I I took hold of the handle of the door and heard an exclamation, oddly transmuted at the end, and oddly truncated at the end, and I clicked and a thud. A gust of air whirled around on me, and I opened the door, and from within came the sound of broken glass falling on the floor. The time traveler was not there. I seemed to see a ghostly, indistinct figure sitting in a whirling mass of black and brass as for a moment. A figure so translucent that the bench behind and with its sheets of drawings was absolutely distinct. But the phantasm vanished as I rubbed my eyes. The time machine had gone, save for a subsiding stir of dust. And further end of the laboratory, it was empty. A pan in the skylight had apparently just been blown in. I felt in unreasonable amazement, and I knew that something strange had happened, and for the moment, and could not distinguish what the strange thing might be. As I stood staring, the door into the garden opened, and the man and servant appeared. We looked at each other, then ideas began to come. Has Mr. gone out that way? Said I. No, sir. No one has come out this way. I was expecting to find him here. At that, I understood the risk of disappointment in Richardson, and I stayed on, waiting for the time traveler, waiting for the second, perhaps still stranger story in the specimen in photographs he would bring with him. But I am beginning now with the fear that I must wait a lifetime. The time traveler vanished 3 years ago, and as everyone knows now, he has never returned. With the epilogue, one cannot choose but wonder, will he ever return? It may be that he swept back into the past and fell among the blood drinking and hairy savages of the age of unpolished stone, into the abyss of the Cretaceous Sea, or among the grotesque saurian, the huge reptilian brutes of the Jurassic times. He may even now, if I may use the phrase, be wandering on some plesiosaurus hunted oolitic coral or leaf, or beside the lonely sailing lakes of the Triassic Age. Or did he go forward into one of the near ages, in which men are still men, but with the riddles of our own time and answered, and it's where there's some problem solved. Into the manhood of the ray is for I, for my own part, cannot think that these latter days is a weak experiment in fragmentary theory and mutual discord. It are indeed man's culminating time. I say for my own part, I know, for the question had been in discussing among us this long before the time machine was made. Thought, but clear cheerlessly of the advancement of mankind, and then saw in the growing pile of civilization and only a foolish shaping that must inevitably fall back upon on and destroy its makers in the end. If that is so, it means for us to live as through it were not so. But to me, the future is still black and blank, is a vast ignorance that a few casual places is by the memory of his story. And I have by me for my comfort two strange white flowers, shriveled now, and brown, and flat, and brittle. To witness is that even in mind and strength had gone, and gratitude and mutual tenderness still lived on in the heart of man. And that was H.G. Wells' The Time Machine. And we still have plenty of time here to tell stories. He's in sing songs, it seems. Yes, a flamethrower would definitely be a good weapon to bring into this future. But I might give you a little bit of a spoiler here. There was a book written in 1995 that is the canonical sequel to The Time Machine. And it was approved by the Wells estate, and it was written by Stephen Baxter. I'll avoid some of the bigger details here, but the time traveler again heads back into the future to attempt to save Weena from her fate. During the time, he ends up stopping about 150,000 years short as he notices the sky goes dark and ends up finding rather more enlightened Morlocks, one of which goes on in the trip throughout time. He ends up discovering that he can't get back to the future he was originally at, and goes on an amazing journey throughout time, going to the past and future. Eventually, he finds his way to get to the original timeline and saves Weena just in the nick of time. And that brings us to a little story I've been working on. I guess it was a sort of a fanfic of sorts. But I'm kind of working on my own continuation of the story after Baxter's story, where the time traveler is still attempting to bring the Eloi into their own agrarian revolution, and he's bringing people all throughout time to help him. And my perspective character is that of a character I've named John, and who has just recently been brought on board to this project of the time travelers. I don't have the whole thing written out yet, but that's the gist of it. Going back to the movies, as I had mentioned, at least in the 1960 movie, they called all of them the Eloi. And I noticed is in each movie they had him had it pronounced slightly differently. So the 1960s was Eloe, in the 19 and then 2002 when it was Eloi, and in the 2000 in the 1978 he made for TV one, which was kind of crappy. You can find it on YouTube if you want to see it. That was it was pronounced Eloy. So how it's actually pronounced, who knows? Now, the weapon I ended up coming up with for the Morlocks were lithium battery, the solar powered red lanterns, and flashlights. So they get charged up during the day and then shine at night. Seeing as we have a little bit more time here, let's pull up another song. How's that sound? Yeah. Might end up going through the whole list at this point. You must have been a beautiful baby. You must have been a wonderful child. When you were only starting to go to kindergarten, you must have drove the little boys wild. And when it came to winning blue ribbons, you must have shown the other kids how. I can see the judge's eyes as I handed you the prize. You must have made the cutest bow. Oh, you must have been a beautiful baby, 'cause baby, look at you now. Does your mother realize Stork delivered quite a prize the day he left you on the family tree? Does your dad appreciate that you're merely super great? A miracle for any century. If they don't, just send them both to me. Oh, you must have been a beautiful baby. You must have been a wonderful child. When you were only starting to go to kindergarten, you must have drove the little boys wild. And when it came to winning blue ribbons, you must have shown the other kids how. I can see the judge's eyes as they handed you the prize. You must have made the cutest bow. Oh, you must have been a beautiful baby, 'cause baby, look at you now. Yeah. Oh, you're there. You're still here. Cool. I might end up wrapping up a little bit early tonight, but we can keep going a little bit longer. Hello. Let's see. I kind of expected I might end up running a little shy of time here. So let's see if I can get this thing rolling here. Oh. Let's see. Do-do-do. Make sure that's off. So this is Ida Shankar. He's the creator of the Devil May Cry that's streaming on Netflix, as you can see in the thing. And he's cosplaying as Dante himself. So far, I've watched this is the first two episodes of this cartoon, and so far it's been pretty damn good. And they definitely got Dante's his cocky attitude down. So that's a recommended cartoon show for you to go watch. The Devil May Cry on Netflix. All right. Let me see here. Pull up your show, Theta, so I can switch over to it when time comes and give you a link. We still got plenty of time here, so let's get another song going in. Oh, I know. How about we do a let's not do a Tom Lehrer song with the whole theme of the excuse me, of our radio broadcast. I think this is an appropriate song to do, and thank you to Tom Lehrer for giving permission and for everybody to use his entire library. And what is it that put America at the forefront of the nuclear nations? And what is it that will make it possible to spread in $20 billion of your money to put some clown on the moon? Well, it was good old American know-how. That's what. That's provided by good old Americans like Dr. Werner von Braun. Gather round while I sing you of Werner von Braun, a man whose allegiance is ruled by expedience. Call him a Nazi, he won't even frown. Nazi schmatzi, says Werner von Braun. Don't say that he's hypocritical. Say that rather that he's apolitical. Once the rockets go up, who cares where they come down? It's not my department, says Werner von Braun. Some have harsh words for this man of renown, but some think our attitude should be one of gratitude, like the widows and cripples in old London town, who owe their large pensions to Werner von Braun. You too can be a big hero once you learn to count backwards to 0. In German and English, I know how to count down, and I'm learning Chinese, says Werner von Braun. Yeah, that's one of my favorites. I really need to start learning more in the songs in his catalog. I really know so few of them at the moment. Though I am working on a few, so hopefully I can get get a new one down for next week or two. Yeah, you seem to like singing along to that one, don't you? Right. Let's bring up the wheel here. And round we go. Where do we stop? Dee-da-do. All right. Now, this one came to me from the movie If, which I covered in a previous live stream. And I had intended to debut on that live stream. I'm not sure if I did, actually. But I noticed it was from 1926, and I figured, hey, I can sing this. It's usually sung by a woman, so I guess I give it my own unique spin on it with my A range. I was oh so blue till you came along, just to make my life a wonderful song. You brought sunshine just to brighten my loneliness. Is it any wonder my happiness I confess? Do I want you? Oh my, do I? Honey, did I do? Do I need you? Oh my, do I? Honey, did I do? I'm glad that I'm the one who found you. That's why I'm always hanging around you. Do I love you? Oh my, do I? Honey, did I do? There are lots of others that I have met. Those you meet today, tomorrow forget. You're the only one who ever could stand the test. That's the reason why I choose you from the rest. You're the best. Do I want you? Oh my, do I? Honey, did I do? Do I need you? Oh my, do I? Honey, did I do? Let's see here. We got 9:50, and Theta's stuff is starting at 10. I guess we'll get one more song in and then call it a night. How's that sound? And give you guys a little break in between in shows. So, also feel free to make any requests. This in the description. Henry VIII. Is that really one we want to end on? I'm Henriette, I am Henriette, I am. I got married to the woman next door. She's been married 7 times before, and everyone was named Henry. Henry should never will or Sam. No, Sam. I'm a eighth old man, Henriette, I am. Second verse, same as the first. I'm Henriette, I am Henriette, I am, I am. I got married to the woman next door. She's been married 7 times before, and all of them named in Henry. Henry should never will or Sam. No, Sam. I'm a old man, Henriette, I am. Oh, I'm Henriette, I am. Henriette, I am, I am. I got married to a woman next door. She's been married 7 times before. And all of them named Henry. Henry, she will never will or Sam. No, Sam. I'm a old man, Henriette, I am. Henry. Henry. Henriette, I am, I am. Henriette, I am. Yeah. I feel like I screwed that one up a little bit. Can't end on a note of screwing something up. Yeah. Let's get one more. We'll do one more song. Honestly, I think I kind of screwed that one up. Beautiful Dreamer. That sounds like a good one to end on. Okay. Ah. Beautiful dreamer, wake unto me. Starlight and dewdrops are waiting for thee. Sounds of the rude world heard in the day, lulled by the moonlight, have all passed away. Beautiful dreamer, queen of my song, list while I woo thee with soft melody. Gone are the cares of life's busy throng. Beautiful dreamer, awake unto me. Beautiful dreamer, awake unto me. Beautiful dreamer, out on the sea, mermaids are chanting the wild lory. Over the streamlet, vapors are born, waiting to fade at the bright coming morn. Beautiful dreamer, beam on my heart, and as the morn on the streamlet and sea, then will all clouds of sorrow depart. Beautiful dreamer, awake unto me. Beautiful dreamer, awake unto me. That's more like it. Okay, well, thank you for all stopping by. I'll let you guys have a few minutes to get ready for Theta's show. It'll be up next. What's he covering this time? George Orwell's 1984, they're from 1956, and Finger to Big Brother. Okay, sounds like a nice theme show that's there. There's a link to that. And live long and prosper.